Hello everyone, I hope you guys are having a wonderful day here, making some really good trades as per usual. We're going to be doing our weekly recap here. So again, the markets had a very exciting week overall. You can see the Japanese yen finally found its footing here, and we're getting some sort of a bounce off of 140 flat area, right? Very big psychological level for the yen. Again, this pair going down is the yen strengthening. Pair going up is yen weakening. Yen weakening, very good for equities. Gives hedge funds, banks leverage they need to continue to pump this market up. So right now, we're getting some relief in the yen. And not too surprising, the markets are also going up as well. Right? They're like almost 1-to-1 sometimes. Not always, right? There's delays in the charts, stuff like that. But overall, I think the yen needs some more upside. Could still be in its X, right? Could rug pull, do a flat. We don't really know. ABC, right? Could come back down and then go do a Y again, right? The Y extends. So regardless, I have it labeled like this right now. The target is 144.9 to 146.9, and it's a big range, but this is where the yen should find resistance and possibly get ready for its capitulation moment of its 333 towards the downside into the 136 to 130, one actually goes all the way to 124 area. And this is where the yen should, capitulate and the markets should stabilize. And I still find the markets pretty unstable right now, even though, we're getting upside. We're on a rocky ship, it's going up and down a lot. The Dow Jones getting a nice bid too, but kind of struggling here versus the rest of the indices. It's still not above its highs here at 407. I still think it's going to get into its area of 419 or 400 and 440,000 or something like that, 41,900 on the actual Dow Jones index. So I think it'll reach around that area before it starts to find resistance. Again, just know around this area on, in terms of distribution, we've seen tons of dark pool trades, massive orders, massive blocks come in. So this will most likely prove to be an area of resistance once we rally into it. In my opinion, we're going to rally into it because we're seeing the SPY and the Qs lead the charge by breaking the highs here. Now that we've broken the highs, it's a much more clear pattern. Last week we had a very bearish 1-2, 1-2, 1-2 setup for a possible crash back down to 453, but that was negated finally by taking out this high. So we have some more clarity. So to me, you could technically, if we do dip, right, if we get some sort of a B, and a C, they should be a Bible dip possibly for another higher low, right? Maybe you just do a basic trend line, very basic TA. You could find some sort of retracement if it wants to, and you could buy it and hope for this Y and C leg to extend higher, which is a pretty decent sized rally. You probably look for another 11% pump, right? So we'll see how it's going to play out, but this is what I'm thinking here for the indices overall. Same thing for the Qs. This is where we should start to find resistance. Same thing for not the IWM actually. The IWM is a little bit more different. We had a short area here. It got right into it, got rejected right away, and now it's trying to fight its way back into it. So it could technically take out the high as long as it finishes with no divergence. Then we'll know that the wave 2 is coming to an end. And we're going to be looking for this massive capitulation here. And the IWM, we've been trading the IWM for a while. Very, very nicely. We've had nice buy areas, nice short areas. And this was probably the short of a lifetime here around this area, 241 on the IWM. Big collapse afterwards. And we'll head over to the TLT again. TLT, in my opinion, so the big bond holders, right? Bond players, pay attention. In my opinion, I think the bonds are set to go down for one more leg here. They could easily get into this area, chop around for a bit. I think this will be an area of resistance. Once you get 3 swings up, this is your target. to exit your bonds, right? I'm going to be exiting my bond position most likely at a break even once we get into here, and I think we're going to start to capitulate. We had a much more bullish count before, but once we got invalidation, that's when we know that it's the count is morphing into something else. So now we're going to be looking for lower levels, right, at 77, 82 to as low as $70.38. But it's not the end, right? We're going to break lows. People are going to panic out of bonds. We're going to see yields spike, right? The yields have the same chart here. Yields spike into 5 to 6% even on the 20-year bond. And after that, most likely we'll see some sort of pivot. Hopefully, we'll see some sort of pivot or Fed panic, and they start to cut rates and support the bond market, and then we get that big bond market relief rally into the 107 area, or depending on where it wants to go. All right, we'll get that relief rally. I believe this is the target here, or was it like something like this? Yeah. There we go. So that's going to be the target for that. After that, it's going to be, we're going to be taking a look at the SMH. So the SMH right now, doing pretty well. It's got a nice reaction off the lows. We were looking for some sort of ABC and a WX higher. So now we can kind of map out a target. To me, the highs are going to break here. So because you know the indices are breaking and the Nasdaq is breaking the high, so you got lots of bullish euphoria coming in. So I think we're going to see probably 227 on the SMH. So that's good for all those semiconductor holders everyone's been holding. So you guys are holding semis, that's good for you. You're going to get some sort of relief rally here, a continuation towards the upside most likely. But we're going to need to see some sort of A, B, and a C for a Y, right? And this is the area to probably take some profits, get out of your longs, and wait for the pattern to develop further, because this can really get out of control. You know, we have an ABC here. We could easily have another WXY until we really confirm that the trend is done towards the downside. But right now, because we're moving in threes, this is the pattern that I have. We'll take a look at gold. So gold, we had a nice dip buy here. Gold has been on a tear towards the upside. I mean, we've been killing it with gold. Dip buy, dip buy, dip buy, and now we're looking for shorts. I believe we've found some sort of top here in a 1, possible 1, right? Maybe the fifth wave can extend even more if it wants to, but if it's a significant top, then we won't see these levels for a while. But gold right now, I think gold's going to come back up to like maybe 376, and then we're going to see it pull down. We're going to see pull down. So maybe this is fear coming back into the market, but it's short-lived, right? So it kind of lines up with our cues, right? Some sort of dip or the SPY or any indice, some sort of dip back down, but it's a buyable dip, and then we're going to be looking to short gold, right? Short gold. And then I think gold will probably end up somewhere in like 3,100 to 3,100 to 3,000, right? And then we'll see if it gets stabilized there. Probably find a ton of support. You know, big psychological levels around 3,000. And then we'll take a look here at silver. So silver's in my, well, it's actually on this chart, but the silver took out my short area, but is still struggling. Hard invalidations at 34.55. WTI, oil. So oil is in a kind of funny spot too. It could dip down, but still come back up, and then buy the market some more time. But overall, we're still looking for lower on oil. We could have technically ended here. We had a nice dip buy area, had a big reaction. We'll take a look at nat gas. So nat gas is one that I just recharted. So to me, nat gas, the chart looks quite bullish right now. We have 5 off the lows. We have a 3-wave move down, which we hit the buy area to the tick here at $3 basically, or $2.90, and we're getting some sort of reaction. We also had a big dark pool order coming on BOIL, which is a 2x leverage ETF for nat gas. So I'll just give it a little bit of sneak peek. That's one of my positions right now, is in nat gas. So if nat gas takes off, well, I'm going to be a happy camper for sure. But again, this has been a It's a very volatile asset. It's known to be called the widow banker because it just keeps going down for months on end sometimes. But when the rallies start, boy oh boy do they start, and they keep going forever. So are we on the verge of starting this rally? Could be. We're breaking a little bit below 200, kind of like we did here, and it was the beginning of a tremendous rally. So let's see if it does do that. If it doesn't, that's okay. We'll take the stop. We'll stop out and move on to the next opportunity. All right, let's speed this through here. So NVIDIA, very similar to the SMH chart. I think this wave 2 could even extend higher. Again, I'll give you guys a target for an exit if you are long NVIDIA, right at 123.48. Could get into this area, even past it, right? Which would take out this 2 and make this a more complex correction for a WXY, which would also mean this could extend higher. Or maybe I'm completely wrong and the low is in, right? We've had some nice longs, right, on NVIDIA, long, saw a couple shorts, and that was kind of it. Didn't do too much after that. Not the best area. See, we even had a short area, it would never hit, and it just decided to collapse down. Tesla's been a fun one too. Tesla's having a nice rally, so this looks like this B is in. We should come into the 310 area. In my opinion, 310 is where Tesla should finally end its rally, and then maybe you get another leg down. After that, take out these lows, complete the cycle. Or it could get much worse. It gets out of control and spirals down to 100, but I don't think that's the case here. AMD finally, alas. So I think AMD has found its low. That's just my opinion. We've been having some great success with AMD on the short side. Let's see if we can find some success on the long side. Now, right now, I'm forcing this as a 1 because we technically only have, it's not a nice wave, not a nice impulse. Even on the smaller time frames, you have no divergence, or I have a little bit of divergence. So you could force the 1 if you want, make this a 2, some sort of ABC. Let's see if this respects the ABC targets, right? Just double check the data. Yes, it did. So this is looking really good for AMD. It's now taking off into wave 3. So the bottom, oh my god, I don't know if I'm gonna say it. The bottom could be in. The bottom. No, so the bottom is definitely looking very likely now. Now that I'm seeing this on the smaller time frames, very tight 5-wave move up on the 15-minute chart. You pulled back, you hit the dip by area at 84, and now you're at 96. So this could technically continue to run inside of a wave 3 and maybe start to leave the other semis into the dust. Now, I don't want to give too much hope for people who are in AMD. You got to be careful. Hope can be a dangerous thing because we don't have any pullbacks, and we haven't taken out the highs yet, and for all we know, this could be some sort of trap for another 3 swing up. If we don't get a 4 and a 5, then we don't have confirmation that the low is really in. But we'll know pretty damn soon. But it's looking good, Maybe I'll get into an AMD position if we can get some sort of wave 2 here. Maybe hit the lows back at 90 and then take off to 100 plus. Intel to me looks like shit. Again, been looking like shit for a while. I still think it's getting ready for a major capitulation down to $7 or something like that. I don't know what the news is going to be. They just laid off like 20,000 people or 20% of their staff. It doesn't look very promising. I think it's just gearing up, right? It can continue to make 1-2s, but eventually it's going to fulfill its destiny towards the downside. Nubius Group looks like it's going to do some sort of correction back up to this area here. Still waiting. CrowdStrike right into the short area. All right, let's see if we respect it. I think this was a flat. So the problem with flats, excuse me, the flat targets can always be exceeded. We have the, good areas for flats to end. Sometimes they end here, but they could always exceed their target. So we'll see what happens. PayPal getting some nice reaction off the lows here too into the buy area. I think it invalidated it by like a penny, but it's doing well. And you could, just to show you, my charts don't always work 100%. This was an ABC correction. It went really deep into it, invalidated it, and did some sort of double correction lower. This was the double correction target. We hit it, and now we seem to have found a bottom. So a lot of charts look like they're starting to bottom out, right? So it's looking pretty good. And Hood, we'll take a look at Robinhood. Robinhood, the short area is up here. To me, it looks like it's trading alongside, Bitcoin here right now. So you could probably hit this area alongside Bitcoin, maybe going a little bit higher, and then you'll find some resistance and you'll come back down. And obviously this target will move if this target moves. MU, okay, MU has to be the trade of a lifetime. Got the long here at 62.30, and I don't know if it's going to come revisit it. It's got major capitulation on multiple time frames. You've erased divergence, I believe, on the daily. Have you? Oh, you haven't. Okay, well maybe the low is not in yet. If MU wants to come back down and take out this low and take out this RSI pivot, then maybe you can confirm that the low is in after. But for now, it hasn't erased. It was pretty close to erasing divergence, but you really haven't done it yet. You did it on the weekly though. The larger time frames matter more than the daily, so you did it on the weekly. So for all we know, the lows could be in the market, and we're not going to get another dip down. But this is what the charts are saying. A lot of people are calling for a multi-month rally now into the summer, and it can happen, but we just have a lot of bearish news still out there. The SPY is trying to break its daily cycle here. I think it's already broken it, to be honest. All right, it's right into resistance. But to me, it looks like we can get into this area. The Q's, similar situation. Daily cycle has yet to be broken, right? We're right at resistance on the daily cycle. So we are still in a danger of getting rejected here. The IWM. The IWM is interesting because it could be possibly leading this rally. I think this is the one we're looking for. There we go. The IWM may lead this rally. It's acting very strong. If anything, I might be intrigued in the long, but again, I'm not in any longs right now, except for maybe nat gas. I'm not going to disclose my positions, but overall, it's looking pretty good. If nat gas can not nat gas, if the markets can hold up and Trump can settle down, then we probably have more upside left. Okay, it's not all that doom and gloom, but there's tremendous risk still in this market, and especially when I take a look at the yen. The yen is the key, and the interest rates are the key. All right, have a good weekend, guys. Peace.